My chosen one, pause. Stop scrolling. This exact second you are holding your phone, this exact breath you just took was not random. It was arranged. It was measured. It was permitted. And according to Archangel Michael, what you decide to do with this message will quietly shape what follows in your life. You think you found this video, but heaven says this video found you. There is a door near you right now. Not a wooden door, not a visible door, a spiritual door, a timing door, a decision door, and it is already beginning to move. A door is about to close, and here is the part that will shake you. Most people will not even realize it closed. They will say, nothing happened. They will scroll. They will laugh. They will delay. And then one day, they will feel a strange heaviness and not know why. But you were stopped. Archangel Michael stands in the unseen realm with his sword lowered, not to strike, but to guard. He is not here to frighten you. He is here to alert you. Because this moment was written before you woke up today. There are seconds in life that carry more weight than years. This is one of them. You almost skip. Let that sink in. You almost move your thumb and dismiss the very warning that was sent to protect your next season. Do you understand how thin the line was? How small the motion could have been? One swipe and the door would have begun to close without you noticing. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. Archangel Michael says there are crossroads that look ordinary. Low thunder. No lightning. Just the quiet voice. But heaven records it. Right now, something is aligning behind the scenes. Conversations you have not heard. Decisions you have not seen. Movements in places you cannot access. And whether you engage with this message or ignore it becomes a signal. Yes, a signal. When you stop and listen, you signal readiness. When you open your spirit instead of scrolling past, you signal alignment. And alignment changes outcomes. There is a reason you have felt restless lately. A reason you have sensed that something is shifting. A reason certain plans have stalled. The door that is closing is not punishment. It is protection. Read that again in your spirit. There are opportunities that look shiny but carry hidden drains. There are relationships that seem comforting but quietly weaken your calling. There are paths that look easy but lead to slow confusion. Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard your destiny. And sometimes guarding means allowing a door to shut before you walk through it. But here is the mystery: if you do not recognize the moment, you may fight to reopen what heaven has closed. That is why you were stopped. This is your awareness checkpoint. You have been asking silently, why does it feel like something is about to change? Because it is. The season you have been standing in has reached its edge. The grace for certain things is thinning. The tolerance for distraction is expiring. And whether you skip this or not changes what follows. Because attention is agreement. When you pay attention to divine instruction, you step into cooperation. When you ignore it, you step into delay. Archangel Michael is not shouting. He is not forcing. He is standing firm and saying, choose carefully. A door is moving. Some of you feel this in your chest right now. A slight tightening. A quiet seriousness. That is not anxiety. That is recognition. You were meant to hear this. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. There are patterns trying to repeat in your life. Cycles that want another round. But this time, the script can change. This time, you can step differently. This time, the closing door is not loss. It is a boundary. and only those who open this message will notice. Others will feel confusion later and not understand why certain access disappeared, why certain chances did not return, why certain invitations faded. But you will know. You will remember this exact moment. The scroll you stopped, the warning you received, the awareness you chose. Archangel Michael says the next few days carry silent decisions. Nothing dramatic on the surface, but spiritually very loud. Watch what suddenly feels heavy. Watch what suddenly feels misaligned. Watch what no longer fits the person you are becoming. Do not chase what is closing. Do not beg what is leaving. Do not force what is resisting. Because sometimes the wholest thing you can do is let a door shut without touching it. And here is the deeper layer. There is another door. One that does not open by pushing. It opens by awareness. It opens by obedience. It opens by attention. This message is the keyhole. You are not here by accident. You are not listening by coincidence. Archangel Michael says, the moment you paused, the timeline shifted. Let that settle. Something was prevented simply because you did not scroll. Something was delayed simply because you chose to listen. You may not see it immediately, but in the unseen realm, a marker was placed. They responded. That response matters more than you know. Stay still in your spirit for a few seconds after this ends. Notice what feels different. Notice what thought comes to your mind. Notice what name, situation, or decision surfaces. That is where the door is moving. And remember, doors do not always slam. Some close quietly, while heaven waits to see who noticed. You noticed, and that already changes what follows. Beloved listener, something just shifted because you chose to stay. You may think you are simply watching a video, but in the spirit, you have stepped into awareness. And awareness is dangerous to delay. Archangel Michael is not standing idly. He is positioned at a threshold in your life, watching closely how you respond to subtle instruction. There are moments when heaven whispers before it moves. This is one of those whispers. You have been sensing that certain doors feel unstable. Conversations feel different. Invitations feel uncertain. Even your own thoughts have been shifting. That is not random. The spiritual atmosphere around you has been rearranging itself quietly. And the door that is about to close is not just about opportunity. It is about identity. There is a version of you that cannot enter the next season. That version must remain behind. Archangel Michael says some of you are trying to carry old mindsets into a space that requires clarity. You are holding on to familiar fears, familiar reactions, familiar excuses. But the door that is closing is attached to that old version. When it shuts, it will not just remove an option. It will remove a pattern. And this is where your attention matters. Because when something leaves your life, your instinct may be to panic, adjust, to reopen, to explain. But what if the closing is confirmation? What if the silence you experienced next is protection? Michael stands as a guardian, not only against visible threats, but against subtle misalignments. He sees what you cannot. He knows which path drains your purpose slowly. He knows which agreement would look harmless but cost you clarity. And here is the truth most will never understand. Sometimes the greatest breakthrough comes disguised as restriction. You may soon notice a delay, a canceled plan, a door that does not respond the way it used to. And instead of frustration, you will feel something unexpected, peace. That peace will be your signal. You were warned. You were prepared. You were positioned. That is why this exact moment was not random. You did not just stop scrolling. You stepped into a checkpoint of destiny, and heaven records checkpoints. There are watchers in the unseen realm who observe human response, not to judge but to measure readiness. When you lean in instead of lean away, it communicates something powerful. You are willing to be guided. Archangel Michael says willingness activates assistance. The next 48 hours around you may carry subtle tests, not dramatic trials, just small joys and a reaction you could give, a message you could send, a habit you could return to. And in those small spaces, the door will continue moving. If you feel a strong urge to rush something, pause. If you feel pressure to force something, breathe. If you feel tempted to revive something that has clearly been fading, step back. Because what is meant to walk with you will not require you to chase it. There is strength in restraint. There is power in letting things close without argument. And while you are here, listening, receiving this message, I want you to understand something important. This is not just content. This is alignment. If this message is resonating with your spirit, let your response be visible. Like this video so the signal expands. Share it with someone who may be standing at their own invisible door. Comment below what you are sensing right now, because your words may confirm what another soul is feeling in silence. Subscribe to this channel and stand with this mission, because messages like this are not entertainment. They are alerts. When you engage, you are not boosting an algorithm. You are amplifying awareness. And awareness saves people from regret. Archangel Michael says there are individuals connected to you who will not recognize their door is closing. But because you stayed, because you paid attention, you may become the one who gently prepares them. Do not underestimate what just happened. This was a dividing second. One path would have led to distraction. The other leads to discernment. You chose discernment. Now listen carefully. When the door closes, there will be a moment of silence. In that silence, do not fill the gap with noise. Do not rush to replace what left. Let the quiet settle. Because in that quiet, another door will begin to reveal its outline. It will not shout. It will not beg. It will simply stand present. And only those who were attentive will recognize it. You are being trained to notice shifts before they become losses, to sense changes before they become consequences. That is spiritual maturity. That is why this moment matters. There are things you once prayed for that are now outdated. There are desires you once chased that no longer match your assignment. And as this door closes, it is also closing confusion. You may not feel fireworks, but you will feel clarity. And clarity is worth more than comfort. Hold steady. What happens next will confirm why you were stopped today. And you will be grateful you did not scroll past this warning. Something is unfolding. And you are positioned exactly where you need to be. Faithful soul, what you are feeling right now is not coincidence. It is confirmation. There is a trembling in the unseen realm whenever someone becomes aware at the right time. Archangel Michael does not tremble in fear. He trembles in readiness. Because when a human spirit aligns with divine timing, movements begin to accelerate. The door that is about to close has a timestamp on it. You cannot see the clock, but heaven can. And what makes this moment so critical is not just the closing itself. It is the awareness of the closing. Most people walk through life reacting to events after they happen. But you have been invited to respond before the shift completes. That is rare. Archangel Michael says this message is a mercy warning. Not because disaster is coming, but because distraction was approaching. There was something subtle trying to re-enter your life. Something familiar. Something comfortable. something that once had permission, but its permission expired. If you had not paused today, you might have mistaken familiarity for destiny. Let that truth sink deep. Not everything that feels known is meant to continue. Not everything that once fit still fits. Growth makes certain spaces too small. Awareness makes certain conversations too shallow. Obedience makes certain shortcuts impossible. The door closing is connected to an old permission. There are agreements you made in weaker seasons. Promises you whispered when you were unsure of yourself. Tolerances you accepted because you did not yet know your worth. But now, something in you has strengthened. And when strength increases, tolerance decreases. Archangel Michael stands as a defender of your growth. He does not fight against people in your life. He fights against patterns that threaten your elevation. He protects your calling from slow erosion. Right now, in this exact window of time, you are being separated from something that would have delayed your next assignment. That is why you felt urgency in the beginning. That is why you almost scrolled. The enemy of destiny rarely appears dramatic. It appears ordinary. It appears harmless. It appears convenient. But heaven saw the long-term cost. And because you stopped, you were briefed. Here is what will happen next. Here will be a revealing. Not necessarily of a person, but of a truth. Something hidden beneath the surface will become clear. A motive. A pattern. A misalignment. And when it reveals itself, you will not be shocked. You will remember this message. Archangel Michael says clarity is coming gently, not violently. You will notice it in small details. A change in tone. A repeated inconsistency. A feeling that refuses to quiet down. Do not ignore those signals. They are not paranoia. They are perception. The closing door is not about loss. It is about refinement. Refinement feels uncomfortable because it removes what no longer matches your new level of discernment. And discernment is expensive. It costs old attachments. But what you gain is peace. The next few days will test whether you trust what you sense today. When something feels off, do not override it. When something feels complete, do not resurrect it. When something quietly ends, bless it and release it. Archangel Michael says obedience in small moments prevents regret in large ones. You are being positioned for something that requires clarity. And clarity cannot coexist with confusion. That is why the door must close. Now listen carefully. There is also a door opening soon. But it will only be visible to those who were not distracted by the closing one. That is the hidden layer of this message. If you had scrolled away, your focus would have remained on what is ending. But because you stayed, your attention is being trained to watch for what begins. Heaven does not just close doors. It redirects vision. And here is your spiritual activation for this moment. Type "I accept divine timing" in the comments if this message is aligning with your spirit. Lesson code 4455 has just been released over those who respond with faith and awareness. When you declare alignment, you are sealing your cooperation with what heaven is doing. Words matter. Agreement matters. Response matters. And as this shift unfolds, understand something deeper. This channel, these messages, this warning, they are not random uploads. They are lifelines for those standing at invisible crossroads. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or even a seed through PayPal in the description, you are not funding content. You are sowing into souls. You are becoming a river that carries light into timelines where confusion once ruled. The word says that when you sow generously, you reap abundantly, and that promise is not ancient history. It is active over you now. As you feel stirred to act, let your giving become your declaration. I partner with what heaven is releasing. Those who move in obedience in moments like this are like harvests they did not chase. So step into it boldly. Release your support as a prophetic act and watch how doors of provision respond to your faith. The closing is near, but you are not unprepared. You were warned. You were positioned. And because you opened this message, you will notice what others miss. The silence that follows will not confuse you. It will confirm you. Listen closely, because what unfolds now is subtle but powerful. After a divine warning comes a period of observation. Archangel Michael does not rush when heaven has already spoken. He watches. He waits. He guards. And in this guarded space, your reactions begin to reveal your readiness. The door that is closing will not slam loudly. It will move quietly, almost respectfully, as if giving you one final glance. And in that glance, you may feel nostalgia. You may feel temptation to reopen conversations, to revisit old habits, to question whether you imagined the shift. This is where many lose their breakthrough, because the enemy of your next season will not argue with you. It will invite you back gently. Archangel Michael says there is a difference between closure and completion. Closure is emotional. Completion is spiritual. Closure seeks explanation. Completion requires obedience. You are being asked to choose completion. Very soon, something around you will reveal its true weight. You will notice how much energy it drains. You will notice how much peace it interrupts. What once felt manageable will suddenly feel heavy. That heaviness is not an attack. It is exposure. Exposure always precedes separation. It was a grace over certain connections in your life for a specific season. That grace allowed you to learn lessons, build endurance, and grow strength. But grace shifts when the lesson is finished. And when grace lifts, effort increases. Have you noticed how something that once flowed easily now feels forced? That is not failure. That is expiration. Archangel Michael is standing firm because what expires must not be renewed. Not this time. There is a hidden trap in familiarity. It whispers, "At least you know this." But destiny rarely feels familiar at first. It feels stretching. It feels new. It feels uncertain. The door that is closing may have felt safe simply because it was known. But safe and called are not the same thing. Heaven is not removing something to leave you empty. It is removing something to prevent stagnation. Growth demands movement, and movement requires release. You might soon receive a message that changes your perspective. You might overhear something that confirms your intuition. You might see behavior that reveals true intentions. When that moment happens, do not argue with the clarity. That will be your confirmation. Archangel Michael says confirmation will not come with drama. It will come with calm realization. A quiet inner voice will say, "Now you see." And when you see, you must not pretend blindness. There is strength in acknowledging what has shifted. There is maturity in accepting that not everything is meant to travel with you forever. The door closing is not rejection. It is redirection. There is a difference. Rejection wounds identity. Redirection protects purpose. Your purpose is being guarded fiercely right now. You cannot see the battles being fought on your behalf. You cannot see the opportunities being preserved for you because you chose awareness. But they are there. Archangel Michael does not waste movement. If he guards a threshold, it is because what lies beyond it matters deeply. The next phase of your life requires sharper discernment. It requires quicker obedience. It requires less emotional attachment to things that have already shown you their limits. This is refinement season. Refinement feels like loss at first, but later, it feels like relief. You may grieve what closes. That is human. But do not confuse grief with mistake. Just because you feel sadness does not mean the door should remain open. Sometimes sadness is simply the sound of transition. There are people around you who will not understand why you are different. They will sense your detachment. They will feel your boundary. They may even question your change. Do not shrink back. Archangel Michael says your growth will make some uncomfortable. But discomfort is not your responsibility. Obedience is. In the coming days, protect your peace fiercely. Limit conversations that pull you backward. Reduce exposure to environments that confuse your clarity. Pay attention to what strengthens your spirit and what weakens it. This is not about isolation. It is about alignment. A closing door will attempt one file pull. It may come through memory. It may come through emotion. It may come through convenience. But remember the warning you received. Remember the awareness you stepped into. Remember that attention is agreement. Do not agree with what heaven has already decided to end. Something greater is positioning itself quietly. And if you remain steady, you will recognize it when it appears. The door that closes will teach you detachment. The door that opens will reward your obedience. Archangel Michael is not just guarding your present. He is preparing your future. And when you look back at this period, you will realize that what felt uncertain was actually precise. What felt confusing was actually strategic. What felt like loss was actually rescue. Stand firm. Let it close. Do not reach for the handle. Because when one season completes, the next does not begin with noise. It begins with clarity. And clarity is already settling over you. Precious one, you are now standing in the space between what was and what will be. This space feels unfamiliar. It is not the old season, yet it is not fully the new one. It feels like waiting. It feels like silence. It feels like something is happening but nothing is visible. And this is where most people grow impatient. But Archangel Michael says this middle space is sacred. When a door closes in the spirit, there is always a recalibration period. During this time, heaven adjusts your alignment. Old ties loosen. Old thoughts lose their authority. Old reactions begin to fade. You may not even realize it is happening, but your inner world is being reorganized. Have you noticed that certain triggers no longer hit the same way? That certain arguments no longer tempt you? That certain validations no longer matter as much? That is growth. The door that closed was connected to an old emotional pattern. And now that it is shutting, you are experiencing withdrawal from what once felt normal. Do not mistake this for emptiness. This is detox. Archangel Michael is guarding this detox period carefully because it determines how you enter your next assignment. If you rush to fill the silence, you will carry residue into the new season. If you remain still, you will enter clean. Here is something powerful about restraint. Restraint does not mean weakness. It means you trust the process enough to not interfere with it. And heaven moves swiftly for those who trust without constant interference. You may soon feel a sudden urge to revisit what just ended. A curiosity. A thought like, maybe it wasn't that serious. That is the echo habit speaking. Habits resist death, but destiny requires it. Archangel Michael says what ended had already shown you its ceiling. It had already reached its limit of growth. Staying longer would not have expanded you. It would have reduced you. And here is the deeper revelation. Some doors close not because they were bad, but because they were too small for who you are becoming. That realization changes everything. You are not being punished. You are being promoted. Promotion rarely feels comfortable at first. It requires new discipline, new awareness, new courage. The people who thrived in your old season may not recognize you in your new one. That is not betrayal. That is evolution. Right now, unseen alignments are forming. Conversations about you are happening in rooms you have never entered. Opportunities are circling your name quietly. Protection is being placed over decisions you have not even made yet. Archangel Michael stands with precision, ensuring that what approaches you next is filtered. You are not entering another cycle of confusion. You are entering clarity. But clarity requires patience. In this waiting space, focus on strengthening your inner foundation. Guard your thoughts. Guard your words. Guard your reactions. The enemy of elevation often tries to provoke emotional responses during transition. If someone challenges you unexpectedly, respond with calm. If something delays suddenly, respond with trust. If a door that once opened easily now resists, step back. Resistance is sometimes divine resistance. There is a quiet confidence forming inside you. You may not fully recognize it yet, but it is there. It shows up when you refuse to chase. It shows up when you decline drama. It shows up when you choose peace over proving yourself. That confidence is a sign you are ready for more. The next door will not open to insecurity. It will open to maturity. Archangel Michael says you are being observed not for perfection, but for posture. Are you desperate? Or are you disciplined? Are you frantic? Or are you focused? Your posture determines access. In the coming days, you may feel moments of doubt. Thoughts like, what if I made the wrong decision? Understand this clearly. If the decision was aligned with peace, it was correct. Peace is your confirmation. Chaos never accompanies divine redirection. The silence you feel right now is not absence. It is preparation. Think of it as a room being arranged before you enter. Furniture is being shifted. Space is being cleared. Lighting is being adjusted. When you finally step into what is next, it will feel ready. You will not have to force it. You will not have to convince it. You will not have to shrink for it. Archangel Michael is not only guarding what leaves, he is guarding what arrives. And what arrives must meet a stronger version of you. That is why this middle space matters so much. Do not rush it. Do not complain about it. Do not try to escape it. Embrace it. Because very soon, you will look back at this quiet period and realize it was the foundation of everything that followed. The door has closed. The silence has settled. And now, alignment is quietly building your next beginning. Steady your heart, because what feels slow right now is actually strategic. You are in a divine pause, and pauses are uncomfortable for those who are used to constant movement. But Archangel Michael says this pause is not delay. It is positioning. There is a difference. When a door closes, the noise stops. And when the noise stops, truth becomes louder. You are beginning to see things more clearly. Not through emotion, not through attachment, but through discernment. And discernment is a gift that only matures through stillness. Something inside you is sharpening. You may notice you are less reactive, less impressed, less easily swayed. That is not indifference. That is growth stabilizing. The version of you that once needed validation is fading. The version of you that seeks alignment is rising. Archangel Michael is watching how you handle this quiet season. Not to test you hardly, but to strengthen you intentionally. The next door that opens will require stability. It will require someone who does not crumble under pressure or chase under silence. Right now, silence is training you. There may be moments where you question why certain responses have not come, why certain confirmations feel delayed, why certain people have grown distant. But look deeper. Distance reveals dependency. When someone steps back, you discover whether your peace depended on their presence. When opportunity pauses, you discover whether your confidence depended on constant progress. This is internal strengthening. The door that closed removed a distraction. Now the pause is removing dependency. Archangel Michael says what is coming next cannot be sustained by external validation. It must be sustained by inner conviction. And conviction is built in quiet places. You may feel like nothing significant is happening. But in the unseen realm, arrangements are being finalized. Alignments are being approved. Protection is being reinforced around your name. There were paths you could have taken that would have entangled you in unnecessary struggle. Because you paused, because you listened, those paths dissolved quietly. You were spared without even realizing it. That is the power of obedience in small moments. And now hear this clearly. During this phase, guard your mouth. Do not speak negatively about what ended. Do not curse the door that closed. Do not complain about the silence. Words carry weight. And in transitional seasons, your words either cooperate with heaven or compete with it. Choose cooperation. Speak peace even if you are still processing. Speak trust even if you are still adjusting. Archangel Michael says your declaration shapes your direction. There will soon be a subtle opportunity placed before you. It may not look dramatic. It may not feel overwhelming. But it will feel clean, clear, unforced. That is how you will know it is aligned. Alignment does not beg. It fits. And when it appears, you will realize why the previous door had to close. You will see the contrast. You will feel the difference. The new will not drain you the way the old did. But until that moment arrives, remain steady. And if this message is confirming what your spirit has already sensed, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video so it reaches someone who is misinterpreting their pause as failure. Share it with someone who feels stuck between doors. Comment what you are experiencing in this season, because your testimony may unlock clarity for another viewer reading quietly. Subscribe and stand with this channel if you value messages that bring discernment in critical moments. Become a member if you feel called to go deeper, because these teachings are not casual content. They are spiritual preparation. What is happening in your life right now is not random. You were slowed down on purpose. Archangel Michael says speed without clarity leads to regret. Clarity before speed leads to impact. You are being prepared for impact. The enemy tried to rush you into something premature, but heaven intervened through awareness. And now you stand in a sacred pause, not a setback. Feel the difference. A setback feels heavy and hopeless. A pause feels calm and intentional. Even if you are uncomfortable, there is peace underneath it. That peace is your anchor. In the next few days, resist the urge to force movement. If something is meant to open, it will not require you to break yourself to enter it. If something is aligned, it will not demand you compromise your growth. Archangel Michael stands at your side not as a distant symbol, but as an active guardian. His presence represents courage and clarity. When you feel uncertain, picture him steady, unmoved, sword lowered but ready. You are not navigating this alone. The door closed. The pause began. And soon, alignment will speak. Stay attentive. What unfolds next will make sense of everything you just walked through. And when it does, you will be grateful you did not rush the silence. Remain attentive, because the atmosphere around you is shifting again. The pause you have been standing in is beginning to thin. Not in a dramatic way, but in a subtle, almost unnoticeable way. Archangel Michael says this is the stage where clarity begins to crystallize into direction. Up until now, you were being separated from what no longer belonged to you. And now, you are being oriented toward what does. There is a difference between separation and orientation. Separation feels like loss. Orientation feels like focus. You may start to notice a new idea forming in your thoughts. A new desire that feels cleaner than the old ones. A new standard rising inside you that refuses to compromise. That is not random inspiration. That is alignment taking shape. Archangel Michael is not only in guarding you from the wrong door. He has been quietly adjusting your vision so you recognize the right one. Something that once attracted you will suddenly feel unappealing. Something you once tolerated will now feel beneath your growth. This is not arrogance. This is elevation. Elevation changes appetite. When you grow spiritually, your taste shifts. You no longer crave chaos disguised as excitement. You no longer entertain confusion disguised as mystery. You begin to desire peace, clarity, and stability. The desire is the evidence that the old door truly closed. Now here is what you must understand. As orientation begins, opposition sometimes tries one final distraction. Not because it has power, but because it senses you are almost free from its influence. There may be one more attempt to pull you backward. A memory resurfacing. A message arriving unexpectedly. A situation that tries to reopen emotional attachment. Do not panic. This is not a reversal. It is a confirmation. Archangel Michael says when you see the old pattern attempt to reintroduce itself, it is proof that you are leaving its territory. Patterns do not chase those who still belong to them. They chase those who are exiting. Stay steady. You have already done the difficult part by becoming aware. Now all that remains is consistency. In this stage, consistency is your shield. Do not respond impulsively. Do not romanticize what nearly drained you. Do not reinterpret what heaven already clarified. Trust the clarity you were given. Very soon, something will align that feels surprisingly effortless. Not easy in the sense of lazy, but effortless in the sense of flow. The conversation will feel natural. The opportunity will feel timely. The connection will feel balanced. That is how divine alignment operates. Archangel Michael says the right door will not compete for your attention. It will simply stand open when you are ready. You are being prepared to recognize it. There is a growing maturity in you now. You are less impressed by surface appearances. You are more attentive to substance. You are beginning to ask deeper questions. Does this align with who I am becoming? Does this support my peace? Does this expand my purpose? Those questions are signs of transformation. And transformation always precedes transition. Do not be surprised if people begin to notice the difference in you. Some will respect it. Some will resist it. Some may even feel challenged by it. But remember, you are not responsible for their comfort. You are responsible for your calling. Archangel Michael stands not just as a warrior, but as a witness. He has witnessed your restraint. He has witnessed your obedience in silence. He has witnessed your refusal to chase what was closing. Because of that, access is being prepared. Access requires alignment. If you had forced the previous door open, you would have missed the timing of this one. Timing matters more than talent. Alignment matters more than ambition. And here is something deeper. You are no longer operating from desperation. You are operating from discernment. That shift alone changes what you attract. Desperation attracts urgency and imbalance. Discernment attracts clarity and stability. The next thing that enters your life will match your new standard. Archangel Michael says, guard this standard fiercely. Do not lower it out of lowliness. Do not soften it out of nostalgia. Do not question it out of impatience. The pause was shaping it. The silence was strengthening it. The closed door was protecting it. Now orientation is refining it. Very soon, you will feel a quiet confidence settle over you. Not loud, not boastful, just steady. A sense that you no longer need to rush. That what belongs to you cannot miss you. That is maturity. And maturity unlocks doors that manipulation never could. The next chapter of your life will not begin with noise. It will begin with alignment. And when it does, you will look back at the moment you stopped scrolling and realize it truly changed what followed. Because awareness led to obedience. Obedience led to protection. Protection led to clarity. And clarity is about to lead you into something that fits you better than anything you had before. Stay ready. The door you are meant to walk through is closer than you think. Attentive soul, the air around you is no longer heavy the way it was before. Something has lifted. You may not be able to name it yet, but you can feel it. The tension that once surrounded a certain situation has weakened. The emotional pull that once felt strong has softened. The urgency that once pressured you has quieted. This is not coincidence. Archangel Michael says when a door fully seals, the spiritual atmosphere stabilizes. What once felt confusing begins to make sense. What once felt overwhelming begins to feel distant. And what once felt urgent begins to feel unnecessary. You are stepping into emotional clarity. Emotional clarity is powerful because it restores authority to your decisions. You are no longer choosing from fear. You are no longer reacting from insecurity. You are responding from wisdom. And wisdom changes everything. There was a version of you that would have fought to keep what was leaving. That version is gone. There was a version of you that would have begged for explanations. That version has matured. And now you are able to release without resentment. Archangel Michael has been strengthening that ability within you. Because the next door that opens will require emotional stability. It will require someone who is not constantly looking backward. Look at yourself honestly. You are calmer. You are more observant. You are less impulsive. This is growth in action. But listen carefully. Growth also attracts opportunity. When your inner world stabilizes, external movement begins. You may soon encounter something unexpected. A new conversation. A new offer. A new idea that feels aligned with your current peace. It will not feel chaotic. It will not feel rushed. It will feel steady. That steadiness is your confirmation. Archangel Michael says the door that is about to open will not demand you to abandon your boundaries. It will respect them. It will not require you to shrink your growth. It will complement it. That is how you will know the difference. The old door drained your energy. The new door will strengthen it. The old door made you question yourself. The new door will affirm who you are becoming. Its contrast will be clear. But before the new fully manifests, there is one final internal adjustment happening inside you. Forgiveness. Not necessarily forgiveness toward someone else, but forgiveness toward yourself. Forgiveness for staying too long. Forgiveness for ignoring early signs. Forgiveness for doubting your own discernment. Archangel Michael says release self-judgment now. You are learning. You were growing. You were not behind. You were becoming. Self-forgiveness completes the transition. Without it, you carry subtle guilt into the new season. With it, you step forward clean. You may feel a quiet emotional release soon. Perhaps in prayer. Perhaps in stillness. Perhaps unexpectedly during a simple moment. Let it happen. That release is sealing the old chapter permanently. And once sealed, it will not reopen. And I'll hear this clearly. The next door is not random opportunity. It is strategic alignment. It connects to your purpose. It connects to your growth. It connects to who you are now, not who you were. Archangel Michael has been guarding this alignment carefully. If the old door had remained open, you would have been too distracted to recognize the new one. That is why this process was necessary. You were not being delayed. You were being prepared. And here is your activation for this moment. Type "I walk in alignment" in the comments if you feel the shift within you. Blessing code 8822 is now released over those who declare readiness and clarity. When you speak alignment, you invite confirmation. As this new phase begins to reveal itself, understand something deeper. This message reaching you is not accidental. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or a gift through the PayPal link in the description, you are not just supporting a channel. You are sowing into divine alignment for countless others standing at unseen crossroads. The word declares that when you give, it will be given back to you, pressed down and overflowing, and that promise is alive in this very moment. As you feel the stirring to act, let your seed become your statement. I partner with heaven's timing. Those who move quickly in obedience during spiritual shifts unlock harvests that logic can't predict. Release your support boldly and step into the blessing attached to alignment. The air is lighter now. The confusion is fading. The door has sealed. And what approaches you next carries peace instead of pressure. Archangel Michael stands steady, not because danger surrounds you, but because destiny is near. Remain calm. Remain aware. Remain aligned. What is about to open will not require you to chase it. It will recognize you as someone who learned to let go, and that recognition will change everything that follows. Quiet warrior, you have crossed an invisible line. You may not have felt it physically, but spiritually, something finalized. The old chapter no longer has legal access to your focus. The emotional contracts that once tied you to confusion have dissolved. And now, you are standing on new ground. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where confidence must replace caution. You have been careful. You have been observant. You have been restrained. But now you must also be willing to step forward when the signal comes. Because the next door will not open for someone who is still looking backward. There is a new rhythm approaching your life. A new pace. Not rushed. Not chaotic. But intentional. You will begin to feel motivation returning in areas that once felt heavy. Ideas that once felt distant will begin to feel possible. Energy that once felt drained will begin to restore. This is renewal. Renewal does not shout. It builds steadily. And as it builds, you may find yourself thinking differently about your future. Plans that once seemed acceptable will no longer satisfy you. Standards you once lowered will now feel unthinkable. You are not becoming difficult. You are becoming defined. Definition protects destiny. Archangel Michael hath been sharpening your sense of self, because the next opportunity that approaches will require you to know who you are. It will not be a space for insecurity. It will be a space for clarity. You are no longer available for confusion. Say that in your spirit. There was a time when you tolerated mixed signals, when you entertained uncertainty, when you waited for people or situations to prove themselves. That time is over. Now, clarity is your requirement, and clarity attracts clarity. In the coming days, pay attention to where you feel natural expansion. Where does your mind light up? Where does your peace increase? Where do you feel strengthened instead of drained? Those are clues. Archangel Michael says the right door will align with your internal growth. It will not contradict it. If something feels like it requires you to shrink, step back. If something feels like it requires you to compromise your peace, step back. If something feels like it repeats old cycles, step back. You are no longer meant to negotiate with what nearly delayed you. This is the stage where boldness must rise. Boldness does not mean aggression. It means certainty. It means trusting that what is aligned will remain without manipulation. It means walking forward without needing constant reassurance. There may soon be a defining moment, a conversation where you state your boundary clearly, a decision where you choose growth over comfort, a situation where you decline what once tempted you. That moment will confirm everything. Archangel Michael says when that moment arrives, you will not hesitate the way you once did. You will feel grounded, clear, steady, and afterward, you will feel proud. Not pride rooted in ego, but confidence rooted in maturity. The door that closed was teaching you detachment. The door that opens will reward your discernment. But understand this: new doors require new behavior. You cannot carry old reactions into new opportunities. You cannot bring past insecurity into present alignment. You cannot speak doubt into spaces meant for confidence. This is why the preparation was necessary. You are being upgraded internally to match what is coming externally. Very soon, you will realize that what once felt like loss was actually clearance. Clearance for something more fitting, more stable, more aligned. Archangel Michael stands firm because this new season carries weight. It carries responsibility. It carries influence. And you are ready for it. You are no longer the person who almost scrolled past the warning. You are the person who stayed, who listened, who adjusted, who grew. That matters. Heaven responds differently to those who respond to it. In the next few days, be intentional with your focus. Feed what strengthened you. Avoid what weakened you. Protect your peace as if it is sacred, because it is. When the new door presents itself, you will recognize it not by excitement alone, but by stability. It will feel right without forcing you to prove yourself. It will align without confusion. It will move without manipulation. And when it does, step through with confidence. Do not hesitate because of past experiences. Do not shrink because of old disappointments. Do not doubt because of former delays. Those chapters ended for a reason. You have crossed the invisible line. The door that was closing is now sealed. The door that is opening is approaching. Archangel Michael remains at your side, not as a warning now, but as confirmation. What follows from here will reflect the awareness you chose in that first moment, and you will see, clearly and undeniably, that stopping changed everything. Steadfast one, this is where momentum begins to return. Not the frantic momentum you once knew. Not the rushed energy that pushed you into doors that were never meant to stay open. This is different. This is deliberate movement. And Archangel Michael says deliberate movement carries divine backing. You have done the inner work. You allowed the door to close. You resisted the urge to reopen what heaven sealed. You endured the pause. You embraced the silence. Now, you are stepping into forward motion. But hear this clearly. Forward motion will test whether you truly release the past. Because as new opportunities begin to surface, there may be subtle comparisons. You may measure the new against the old. You may wonder if it will last. You may question whether you are truly ready. This is where faith replaces fear. Archangel Michael says the next door will not look exactly like what you expected. It may come in a form you did not plan for. It may approach through a path you once overlooked. But it will carry one undeniable quality: peace. Peace is your compass now. If something excites you but disturbs your peace, pause. If something progresses but pressures your spirit, slow down. If something flatters you but confuses you, step back. You are no longer guided by emotion alone. You are guided by alignment. And alignment feels steady. And the days ahead take intentional action. Do not sit back passively. When clarity appears, move. When opportunity aligns, respond. When conversation opens naturally, engage. Archangel Michael says obedience is not just about restraint. It is also about response. There was a time to let go. Now there is a time to step forward. Do not let past hesitation rob you of present opportunity. You may feel a quiet confidence rising within you, a sense that you can trust yourself again, that your discernment is sharper, that your reactions are calmer, that your standards are clearer. This confidence is earned. You did not gain it overnight. You built it through obedience in hidden moments, and now you must protect it. Do not explain your growth to those committed to misunderstanding you. Do not shrink your clarity to make others comfortable. Do not apologize for the boundaries that protected your peace. Archangel Michael stands beside those who honor their transformation. The next door opening in your life is not just about external success. It is about internal alignment. It will allow you to function without constant self-doubt. It will allow you to build without hidden instability. But remember this: new seasons require continued awareness. Do not assume that because one door closed and another opened, the journey is complete. Stay discerning. Stay prayerful. Stay grounded. And if this message has walked with you from the first warning until now, do not remain silent. Like this video so others standing at their own threshold can recognize the signs. Share it with someone who is still trying to force a door that heaven has already sealed. Comment below what shifted in your spirit during this process, because your testimony may become someone else's confirmation. Subscribe and remain connected to this channel if you value guidance that sharpens your discernment in critical seasons. Join the membership if you are ready to go deeper, because alignment is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. You are moving differently now. More intentional. More grounded. More aware. Archangel Michael says your awareness has upgraded your access. The opportunities coming toward you will reflect your maturity. They will not entertain the old version of you. They will respond to the strengthened version. Do not be surprised if doors begin opening more easily than before. That ease is not luck. It is alignment. But with ease comes responsibility. Choose wisely. Respond thoughtfully. Move confidently. There will be moments where you must decide quickly. In those moments, return to peace. If peace remains, proceed. If peace withdraws, wait. Peace is not passive. is protective. The door that opens now is not random. It is connected to the moment you chose not to scroll. It is connected to the awareness you embraced. It is connected to the obedience you practiced in silence. Everything is connected. And as movement increases, stay humble. Stay grateful. Stay attentive. Because what follows from here is not just another season. It is the beginning of a pattern of alignment in your life. You were warned. You listened. You adjusted. Now you are moving. And what unfolds next will confirm that the moment you paused truly altered the direction of your path. Watch carefully, because what is unfolding now carries weight. You are no longer in the stage of separation. You are no longer in the stage of waiting. You are stepping into manifestation. Not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a steady, undeniable way. Archangel Michael says this is where many people grow careless. After, a warning after, the closing after, the pause after, the first signs of opening, there is a temptation to relax your discernment, to assume the battle is over, to assume every open door is automatically correct. But awareness must continue. The door that is opening in your life right now carries potential. Real potential. It aligns with your growth. It respects your boundaries. It strengthens your peace. But potential still requires wisdom. Wisdom will determine how far this new season expands. You may notice new conversations deepening, new responsibilities forming, new possibilities presenting themselves. And with each step forward, your posture matters. Are you walking in gratitude? Or are you walking in entitlement? Are you responding with humility? Or are you rushing with pride? Archangel Michael guards not only your entry into new doors, but your conduct within them. This is the difference between temporary opportunity and lasting alignment. Lasting alignment requires consistency. You cannot operate in clarity for a week and then drift back into old habits. You cannot celebrate growth and then secretly entertain the patterns that once delayed you. The old door may be sealed, but the lessons it taught you must remain active. This new space you are entering will test your maturity in subtle ways. You may be given influence. How will you use it? You may be given trust. Will you protect it? You may be given access. Will you honor it? Archangel Michael says your next level is not about arrival. It is about stewardship. Stewardship means handling what you prayed for with wisdom. There was a time you asked for clarity. Now you have it. There was a time you asked for peace. Now you feel it. There was a time you asked for open doors. Now one is appearing. The question is no longer whether heaven is moving. The question is whether you are prepared to manage what is moving toward you. Very soon, you will experience confirmation that this entire process was intentional. It may come through success in an area that once felt blocked. It may come through restoration of confidence that once felt fragile. It may come through recognition from someone who sees your growth clearly. When that confirmation comes, remember the journey. Remember the warning that stopped you. Remember the silence that shaped you. Remember the restraint that strengthened you. Do not forget where you were when the door first began to close. Because humility preserves what pride can destroy. Archangel Michael stands as both protector and reminder. He reminds you that growth is not a destination. It is a discipline. You must continue choosing alignment even when it becomes familiar. Continue protecting your peace even when stability becomes normal. Continue honoring your boundaries even when others test them. There may be a subtle challenge ahead. Not a crisis, but a decision that reveals whether you truly learned from the last season. Perhaps an opportunity that looks similar to the old door but slightly improved. Perhaps a situation that tempts you to compromise just a little. This is where discernment must remain sharp. Do not trade long-term alignment for short-term convenience. You have come too far to restart the cycle. The new door opening in your life is not perfect. Nothing is. But it is healthy. It is aligned. It is stable. And stability is more valuable than excitement without foundation. Archangel Michael says stability is the platform for impact. Impact is coming. You will soon realize that the moment you stopped scrolling was the pivot point. The exact second you chose awareness altered the direction of your path. What could have become delay became discipline. What could have become confusion became clarity. You responded. And heaven responded to your response. Now, as this new chapter strengthens, remain alert but not anxious. Remain confident but not careless. Remain bold but not reckless. The closing door was protection. The opening door is opportunity. What you do inside this opportunity will determine the next season beyond it. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. Stay aligned. Because what follows from here will not just affect you. It will influence others connected to you. And Archangel Michael is still watching, not with warning now, but with approval. The shift is real. The door is open. And you are ready to walk fully into what was prepared for you. Chosen one, this is the moment where everything comes together. Look at the journey you have just walked through. A warning interrupted your scroll. The door began to close. Silence followed. Clarity formed. Alignment strengthened. And now you are standing inside a new chapter that feels different from anything before it. Archangel Michael says this was never about a random video. It was about a divine interruption. The exact second you paused became a spiritual marker. In that second, you proved something powerful. You are responsive. You are attentive. You are willing to adjust when heaven signals you. That responsiveness altered what followed. The door that closed did not collapse your life and corrected you direction. The pause did not delay your destiny. It refined your posture. The silence did not abandon you. It prepared you. And now, you are not the same person who first heard the warning. You are steadier. You are clearer. You are more disciplined. You are more aligned. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this completed transition and declares something over you. You passed the unseen test. Not a test of perfection, a test of attention. Many were called to pause. Few responded. Many felt the nudge. Few honored it. Many sensed the closing door. Few allowed it to shut without interference. But you stayed. You listened. You let it close. And because of that, what follows will not resemble what could have been. There were timelines that dissolved when you chose awareness. There were complications that quietly expired. There were entanglements that lost access to your future. You may never see what you were spared from. But heaven saw it. Archangel Michael saw it. And that is enough. Now hear this final instruction clearly. Do not treat this as a one-time spiritual event. Make awareness your lifestyle. Make discernment your standard. Make obedience your reflex. There will be other moments in your life when you feel that subtle pause in your spirit. Other times when something urges you to stop before you move. Other seasons when a door begins to close quietly. When that happens, remember this journey. Remember that attention changes outcomes. Remember that restraint protects destiny. Remember that peace confirms direction. The door that just opened in your life is only the beginning. It is not the final reward. It is the platform. What you build on it will echo beyond this season. Archangel Michael says, continue walking with courage. Continue choosing clarity over convenience. Continue honoring the growth that shaped you here. And as you move forward, seal this moment. Type "I choose awareness" in the comments if you know this message found you at the right time. Blessing code 9901 is now activated over those who declare vigilance and alignment. Let your declaration mark this transition permanently. Because this was never about fear. It was about focus. Never forget how close you were to scrolling past the very warning that protected you. That memory will keep you humble, and humility will keep you aligned. Now, as this chapter closes, understand something sacred. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a video. You are opening doors for other souls who are seconds away from missing their warning. The Lord declares that when you bring your seed into His house, He opens the windows of heaven over you, and that promise is breathing over you right now. If your spirit is stirred, let your giving become your obedience. Say within yourself, I will be the reason someone else pauses at the right moment. This is not casual generosity. It is prophetic participation. Those who act in faith during moments like this activate harvests tied to divine timing. Release your support boldly, and watch how heaven responds to your response. The door closed. A new one opened. And because you chose awareness, what follows will be marked by clarity, protection, and purpose. Stay watchful. Stay aligned. And never ignore the pause when it comes again.